And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's greet tonight's starting lineups. First for the visiting New York Knicks. At one guard, in his rookie season, St. John's at 6'3", number 13, Mark Jackson. In his fourth season from Tennessee, Chattanooga at 6'6", number 21, Gerald Wilkins. At center, in his fourth season from Georgetown at 7 feet, number 33, Patrick Ewing. At one forward, in his third season from Richmond at 6'7", number 4, Johnny Newman. At the other forward, in his fourth season from Virginia Union at 6'9", number 34, Charles Oakley. The Knicks are coached by Rick Pitino, his assistants Stu Jackson and Ralph Willard. The trainer is Mike Saunders. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup for your Philadelphia 76ers. At one guard, his 11th season on West Texas State at 6'1", number 10, Maurice Cheeks. At the other guard, his rookie season on Bradley at 6'3", number 33, the Hawk, Hersey Hawkins. The center in his 9th season from Duke University at 6'11", number 42, Mike Shuminsky. At one forward in his 7th season from Louisville at 6'6", number 21, Derek Smith. And at the other forward in his 5th season from Auburn at 6'6", number 34, Charles Barkley. The 76ers are coached by Jim Lynam. His assistant is Fred Carter. The director of player personnel is Bob Weinauer. The trainer is Al Domenico. The officials for tonight's game, number 42, Mr. Hugh Hollins, number 28, Mr. Tommy Nunez, and number 9, Mr. Bruce Alexander.
Well, there you see the 76ers knowing the task in front of them tonight. If form prevails, Matt, the New York Knicks will try early here to exploit the defensive abilities of Derek Smith. They've been running either Gerald Wilkins or Johnny Newman right at Derek, and whoever gets the ball generally tries to take it right to the basket for early points.
Well, that seems to be the early strategy, and for some reason it dies down as the game wears on, but it's not only getting by that initial pressure, which is key, and they've been able to do that, but I think the Knicks realize that neither Mike Shuminsky nor Charles Barkley are real shot blocking threats, nor a threat to knock them down in the lane. And until somebody knocks them down, you got to figure they're going to continue to do it. We really have an emotionally charged building tonight, Jim, as you would expect in any playoff situation. But the Sixers have to be very careful with all of this emotion. They got to keep their composure and poise for 48 minutes.
There are a lot of New York Knicks fans here tonight, and that could very well work in the favor of the Sixers because the Philadelphia fans, sensing that, are trying to keep pace or even outdo the New York cheering section. So we're going to have a loud, wild one for sure.
A lot of the New York people early were, as the Sixers came out to warm up, were chanting sweep, sweep, sweep. If anything could get the Sixers up, that'll do it, because they certainly don't want that, but they can't worry about that. One at a time.
Well, the Sixers steal the opening tap right there. They basically conceded it to the Knicks, putting all their players on one side of the floor, but were able to steal the tap, and here we go. They will try to get Hersey Hawkins off early. If they can, of course. Not so easily done. This shot's been open throughout the playoffs, and the rebound pulled down by Gerald Wilkins. A career high in game one, but quieted down some. There he goes, trying to make a move on Hawkins.
And Hersey did a good job of leveling off and preventing the penetration. That's really all you got to do. Make these guys take jumpers.
This one is for three, and it's by Mark Jackson. The NBA's all-time best three-point shooting team, and they go right to that strength, right out of the chute.
And you can't worry about them making threes either. You got to cut down on the penetration.
That's a traveling violation. The Knicks twice this year made 11 three-point goals in a game. And of course, their last second three-point shooting, the factors in victories 1 and 2. Power move underneath by Ewing, and we've got a whistle. Tommy Nunez has a foul on Derek Smith.
Derek has had his problems defensively in this series in trying to cut down on the penetration. And as you mentioned, Jim, the Knicks want to go at him. He's trying to put a lot of tough pressure too far out on the floor, I think.
There's a little turnaround jump shot that Ewing has been shooting spectacularly, but not that time. The Knicks by 3. Cheeks off the front of the rim, and the Ewing rebound. Jackson brings it up for the Knicks. Oakley will take that outside shot. And the Knicks struggling a little bit early on.
And the Sixers try to run with that miss, but as will tend to happen in playoff basketball, teams do a much better job of getting back and preventing fast break plays.
Barkley, the shovel inside, and maybe an occasion there of overpassing. Even had Mo Cheeks received the ball, he was surrounded by taller players. Jackson's move is off the rim, and the battle won by Barkley. Jackson all over Charles, and there's an offensive foul going to be called on Barkley, and Jackson comes up. Now Oakley joins in, and tempers are flaring early on here, and Charles has got to calm down. He can ill afford to get himself tossed. He did toss an elbow and caught Jackson, and that triggered this whole sequence of events.
Well, Jackson tested Barkley early there. He put his chin right up there to be poked by Charles. Charles tried to avoid for a second or two, and then he just took that one final swipe. And there it is right there. It was just against the arm. And then to compound the felony, Charles then threw the ball at Mark Jackson, who threw it back. And just a lot of woofing at this point. I don't think the officials are going to toss anybody at this juncture. Now Hugh Hollins, as both referee Tommy Nunez and Bruce Alexander trying to figure out what they're going to do. Hollins trying to keep the coaches at bay.
Under certain conditions, an elbow, if deemed flagrant, can result in automatic expulsion.
Any flagrant foul can be expulsion or a technical foul. We'll see what they call. We have the disadvantage of being up in the mezzanine level. Let's listen.
A technical foul has been assessed to the Knicks, Charles Oakley, and to the 76ers, Charles Barkley. It is a double technical foul. The Knicks will inbound the basketball.
Well, all things considered, I think you got to take that.
I think that's probably the proper call. Charles probably got the technical for tossing the ball at Mark Jackson, and Oakley gets the technical for coming in and giving a shove. Now Rick Pitino going crazy here. Why, I don't know. But Oakley did come in to give Charles a little bit of a push. So the two big horses have gotten some of their emotion and frustration out of their system, and they'll have to be careful the rest of the way and just play basketball.
So we have a hockey setting early here as each team decides that it's time to settle the, what's the word, machismo? Well, it comes up with 9:57 into this first quarter. Now we settle down, hopefully. This is Gerald Wilkins, and nobody probably in the league, maybe with the exception of his brother, puts the ball on the floor and moves to the basket any better.
Well, he certainly did it in game one. Had a fantastic game. That time Derek Smith took himself out of the play defensively by gambling, and a bad gamble for a steal. Barkley
to Jaminski, who is fouled. So early on, Charles looking very much for his teammates off the dribble.
Well, the defense really collapsing on Barkley and anybody else who comes into the lane for the Sixers. A nice feed to Jaminski, and the foul will go against Barkley. Good little spin, maybe got away with a little bit of a hook.
Well, Jaminski clearly fouled by Charles Oakley, as you see, and the Sixers now are on the board.
I'm sure the Knicks very much concerned with the fouls of Patrick Ewing. He really got himself and the Knicks in a hole early in game 2 by getting 2 quick ones. Had to go to the bench, came back, and then got a real silly one against Chris Welp for his 3rd and had to sit out the whole first half.
So Mike Jaminski trying for the 2nd one. That one clanks off the rim. So it's 5-1 to Knicks. Gerald Wilkins left alone. And the follow-up there, both Oakley and Ewing right under the basket. They give it to Oakley.
There's the pick and roll play that was so successful in game 1 with Gerald Wilkins and Charles Oakley. He got a wide open jump shot, and also got the Sixers defense out of whack and enabled the offensive rebound tip in.
Jaminski muscled there, but a good strong offensive board by Derek Smith, but he cannot convert it.
Oh boy.
3-pointer Jackson. Boy.
That's when the Knicks like to take that 3 on the run. That was probably not a good shot.
Right to the basket. No better way to do it. And one of the best in the league at doing it. Watch it again.
Well, here Maurice coming off the missed 3-point attempt. Wilkins tries to level off Cheeks, but does it by reaching with the hands and not moving the feet. And consequently, Maurice has a chance to complete the 3-point play.
Well, the Sixers foul shooting starting off a little shaky now. They've missed a couple.
Well, it was off in game 1. Knicks were way off in game 2, and both teams shooting 69% for the series.
Mo Cheeks had a steal momentarily, and then the loose ball presented a battle, and the foul is going to be called against Cheeks.
By Maurice's reaction, you can tell he doesn't agree with the call. He rarely shows any of that kind of emotion.
This is Newman, and he puts it right down the well from distance, just inside the 3-point line. Sixers want a delay of the game penalty here, I believe.
And I'll get it.
9-3 the score.
Uh-oh. Ewing and Jaminski really banging away, and the officials watching both of them.
Speaking of banging, here's another offensive foul, the 3rd now of the game. We've only played 4 minutes. This one on Hersey Hawkins.
And that time Johnny Newman did a good job of moving his feet and getting in the path of Hersey, who is not really ready to take the jump shot right now. Looks like he wants to put it on the floor and go to the hole.
Well, the Sixers have already used up their allotment of personal fouls before the penalty, and Oakley hits from outside. And when you're on the road, one thing you really want to do is get off to a good start, and the Knicks have done that. 7:45 left to go now in the first quarter. The Knicks 11 and the Sixers 3, and we'll be back right after this. Just a reminder, folks, that the campers are coming in bunches here. Space is getting very limited all of a sudden, and they're about to close out those rosters for Las Vegas. There's even some rumor that some of the current Sixers may show up. What the heck? A great setting, a great chance to have a lot of fun. There's the number to call, 1-800-HERO, 1-800-888-HERO. And we look now at the Knicks, and their hero in game 1 goes to work right here.
Well, one of the areas where the Sixers really want to improve coming into game 3 is cutting that kind of play down, forcing that driver to the outside, and at least having some white shirts in the paint to knock them down or block the shot. However, in the early going, despite the 11 points by the Knicks, they've only got 4 of them in the paint. That driving shot by Wilkins and the tip in by Oakley. So despite the fact that the Knicks are hitting from the outside, I think it's still a good sign the Sixers, for the most part, keeping them out of the middle.
Sixers looking for a spark here, and there's the man who has been giving it to them in this series so far. 2 outstanding games off the bench, 26 points each time. The inbounds pass, though, is mishandled. And the Knick defense, you have to be impressed with it.
Yeah, they went to kind of a matchup trap, which they've done throughout this series and really the last couple of years under Rick Pitino. Used to do it under UB Brown, trapping on side out of bounds plays.
Newman on the drive, gets a step.
That's what hurts. That's a killer. You just don't want to let a player like that, who's not particularly good at putting the ball down on the floor to begin with, go with his left hand, no less, into the lane.
Yeah, he's able to beat you with the dribble and then no one back to block the shot or contest the shot. Barkley squeezing his way between players, and count this one. Jackson will commit the foul. And this was just a great effort.
Well, the Sixers have all 5 of their points in the paint as Charles Barkley able to wheel around Oakley and draw the foul. Just backing up to the last play by Johnny Newman, one of the reasons why he was able to get that drive, he just made his last jump shot, and that'll bring the defense out on you.
And there is the 3rd missed free throw. Sixers are 1 out of 4 from the line. Ewing's turnaround. Pretty almost impossible to stop him when he's in that 6-foot range in there.
He caught it right at the dotted line where he likes to catch it there on the left box, and Mike Jaminski has to beat him to that spot.
Anderson had the good shot, and then Jaminski sneaks in with the tip in. 15-7, the Knicks on top. Just about halfway through a very electric first quarter. Here's a wide open one for Ewing, and he too wide open. He flipped it up. Cheeks down the middle. Goes flying, and here come the Knicks. I had Ewing missing that wild one. It was actually Oakley. Now we have a traveling violation against the Knicks.
Cheryl Wilkins with his eyes getting bigger and bigger as he senses that they can drive down the lane. Took an extra step in there.
Hawkins goes down the lane, short with the shot.
Hersey's obviously starting to think about it way too much, and just he's got to get out there and just play.
There is Gerald Wilkins again, and I don't want to repeat myself too often, but boy, you give him a step and see you later.
I'm sure Jimmy's trying to figure out what to do with Hersey right now, and he probably wants to let him play through this and knock down a field goal before he gets him out, but probably wouldn't hurt just to give him a minute or two just to take a look at it and go back in again, because he's obviously thinking about his problems, and you just can't play basketball effectively when you're thinking like that.
To inbound the ball, Ron Anderson. Look at Ewing come all the way out 30 feet away from the basket to guard Jaminski. That gives some room to Mo Cheeks, and he takes advantage of it and is fouled.
Personal fouls on Johnny Newman, his first personal foul, team 4.
It's really amazing, Jim. We keep talking about the porous Sixers defense, and the Knicks are certainly capitalizing on it. They've got 10 of their 17 points down the lane. The Sixers have all of their 7 points and looking to get 2 more here by lane penetration and underneath the basket hoops.
I think we said all season long that we were never impressed by the Knicks on defense. That's certainly.
No, it's one of the reasons why they go to all those tricks and gimmicks and traps and presses. They're trying to camouflage the fact that they are not a good defensive team.
Wilkins from three-point land, and he throws an air ball up. Cheeks to Barkley, and that'll get the place nuts. And the Knicks want a timeout as the Sixers come roaring back here. 5:13 now left to go in the opening quarter, and we got 7th game of the NBA Championship Finals fever at work. We'll be back. Well, they call themselves the Bomb Squad. They shoot more three-pointers than any team in NBA history, and everybody on the team, it seems, likes to launch them.
And you would say, why take this shot when Gerald Wilkins has been able to drive through and lay the ball up here? He puts up a flat-out air ball brick, and it's going to result in another 76er fast break layup on good ball movement between Anderson, Cheeks, and Barkley. And the other missed 3 by New York resulted in a possible 3-point play for Maurice Cheeks. But this is the way the Knicks play. Everybody says, well, why don't they change this or why don't they change that? This is how they won 52 games this year. And of course, they've toned down the trapping against the 76ers, so they have made some concessions.
Sixers now trying to claw into this big Knick lead early on. It's now a 17-11 one. Newman off the dribble. Sixers on the run. Cheeks to Jaminski, and the big guy outran Ewing down the floor.
That time it was good defense by Jaminski to force Ewing out on the floor, and it resulted in the miss by Johnny Newman from the perimeter. So the Knicks have made some perimeter jump shots, but they're really feeling cocky offensively right now. Sixers able to take advantage of the missed perimeter shots.
The roll not kind to Ewing. The rebound is finally scooped up and missed, and now tapped in by Charles Oakley. Knicks had 3 men on the board that time.
Had too many cracks there, and Sixers need more help down on that defensive board when they do force a miss, because when they get the miss, they can get a good fast break opportunity.
Jaminski from Cheeks. That shot will be there most of the game. Here's a three-pointer by Oakley. And we talk about everybody doing it. Oakley didn't take a three-point shot this season till mid-March. And then he took 41.
About half of them have been against the Sixers.
Three-pointer Hawkins. Ron Anderson has the open shot. 22-17. Knicks. Jackson breaks down the defense.
That hurts more than an Oakley three-point shot, believe it or not. I'd rather see him keep launching the perimeter shots and the threes.
Cheeks answers back. But Mo's got to do a job on this end and get some help.
There's a pick and roll again. Good help there by Charles, and recovers well.
Jackson again. He tried to dish away, and the Sixers come away with the ball and a foul called against New York.
Should be against Gerald Wilkins, reaching in and grabbing, and turned out to be a break for the Knicks as it kept the Sixers from getting a lay-in. Kiki's coming into the ball game. Kiki Vandeweghe, and Trent Tucker, game 2 hero with the three-point shot, who has really not played particularly well in this series, but of course he'll never forget that shot as long as he lives.
Tucker, who takes more three-pointers than anybody, really has struggled until that game winner. Wilkins on the bench, Gerald that is, with 2 personal fouls. Sixers, who have been miserable on the free throw line early on here, get one and look for another from Hawkins.
Now Hersey has gotten the lid off. That has to feel good. Maybe he'll get relaxed now and
just about
start hitting some from the field.
24-21. New York has led all the way.
Sixers in their half-court trap.
Here is Ewing. He's got some room. He goes over the top. Vandeweghe. Another offensive rebound, this one by Oakley. The ball, though, took a long bounce. A lot of mustard on that one, and Vandeweghe misses again, and finally the Sixers come away with the ball. That battle under there is something.
Fierce.
And finally pulled away by Tucker. Tucker for 3. Another deep rebound, as you'll often see with three-point misses.
Nice foul.
Oh. Oakley seems to want to shoot that ball too soon. He's so wide open.
He doesn't really take a strong move inside there, and he's missed a couple. Now here's Barkley again. One on everybody.
And finally a whistle, and this will be a foul on Patrick Ewing. A lot of things happening, but no points coming as a result.
If this were a schoolyard game, and it certainly looks like one, everybody would take a lunch break at this point. Guys are worn out. Everybody really playing hard, but it's been wild and woolly. Here's Barkley again, hammering away at the offensive board. Only Ewing in there with Trent Tucker, and Charles just too quick for everybody and able to draw the body from Ewing.
Game 4, if necessary, right here on Prism Thursday night, and that'll be an 8 o'clock start.
Well, if this continues for 48, and of course the Sixers need a win to push it to game 4. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to.
You and I will be out there.
We've had a lot of basketball in the first 10.5 minutes of this first quarter.
The Knicks have gotten much more out of their bench in this series, and they've really gone to it now. They've got Sidney Green in, Eddie Wilkins rather, along with Rod Strickland, Van de Weg, and Tucker. So 5 non-starters on the floor for the Knicks, and another missed free throw.
And Strickland is a guy the Sixers are going to have to watch carefully. He was very effective in the third period on Saturday afternoon with penetration and difficult shots, but that's his game.
Another outstanding guy who will take it right down the well.
Okay, Elise Maurice leveled him off, didn't let him get inside for the layup, and I'd rather see him take that jump shot.
I'm amazed at his ability to shoot, Matt, on the run like that. He never uses the glass, or rarely does.
He's got a knack.
Barkley surrounded. And the ball popped out of there, and here's a collision at midcourt. And the Sixers not getting any of these calls. This time Ron Anderson just a fraction of a step too late getting over there. You've got to give that man who's receiving a pass like that a chance to come down.
Hey, Charles Barkley going to get a little breather here. Charles is visibly exhausted, not only from the mental aspects of the approach to this game, but Charles has worked his tail off, and good move by Jimmy here to give him a little breather with less than a minute to go in the first period.
Gerald Henderson in with Ben Coleman, Christian Velp. Sidney Green and Ben Coleman are taking over now the war inside. Green will shoot over Coleman. Green was a not so happy camper as a bench player last year, but he seems to be much more resigned to his role this time around. Henderson has it blocked by Green, but they're going to say he goaltended.
The penetration there by Gerald, as the Sixers have had their way inside against the Knicks. Everybody keeps talking about the Sixers defense, but the Sixers would also be able to knock down some perimeter jump shots. Ron Anderson's got one of them so far. They're going to need more than that.
Despite the fact that the Knicks really came out roaring, it's only a 4-point New York lead. Tucker on the fly. That was a real wild shot, and it creates a breakaway, but not enough time to pull it off. And the first quarter ends. The Knicks 28 and the Sixers 24. You don't want to leave this one. It's going to be a wild one. We'll be back after this. (28-24) your score. Jim Barniak along with Matt Gukas, and two fired up teams. And the Sixers' biggest problem so far is stopping the penetration of the New York Knicks backcourt people.
He just lulled Maurice to sleep for a half a second there with a hesitation on the dribble, got himself inside the foul line. And here's Sidney Green, who's got a newfound post move as he does a nice little spin turnaround jumper on Coleman. He's really developed a better post-up move on the left side of the floor, something he has not had before, so obviously picked it up over the summer.
And there is a fatigued Charles Barkley. If you're just joining us, he got into a little set to early on, initially with Mark Jackson, and then Charles Oakley decided to intervene, and we had a double technical foul called, one on Charles Barkley and one on Charles Oakley. And things have simmered down with respect to the extracurriculars, but everything else at a very high level.
We'll see if Charles, and it's going to be important for him to get a breather, get his second wind, and be able to go out the whole ball game and be effective rather than doing it in just the short bursts.
That is Green taking the ball to the basket and drawing the personal foul.
Personal foul is on
Ben Coleman fouls Sidney Green. The Knicks are completely into their bench right now with Strickland, Bandaway, Green, Eddie Lee Wilkins, and Trent Tucker.
And Maurice Cheeks, the only starter on the floor for the Sixers, and of course Ron Anderson, who plays starter minutes.
Now we have a foul away. No, we're going to call a 3-second violation on Eddie Lee Wilkins. The Knicks turn it over for the third time. The Sixers have 5 already. Coleman tries his post-up move, and another offensive foul.
Yeah, Green did a good job of taking away the baseline move of Ben Coleman, and Ben, like a Bronco bull in there, just tried to go that way anyway. Ben looks large to me.
That's at least the 4th offensive foul on the Sixers.
Ben may have bulked up when he was out with that back problem.
Always been a problem for Ben.
Wow.
Here's one kick.
Basketball.
The Knicks are a turnover-prone team to begin with, and then when you have guys like Eddie Lee Wilkins handling the ball, and Green, unless he catches it and shoots it, he's turnover-prone as well. Of course, Kiki and Tucker are going to shoot it. Here's another turnover.
Wilkins and Sidney Green collided and also caught Ben Coleman in the middle. And so we have an offensive foul on the Knicks. On the run, the shot is short. The follow-up, though, by Ben Coleman. He plucked the partially blocked shot out of the air. It's a 2-point Knick lead.
Scott Brooks set to check in for Maurice Cheeks.
Ooh, Strickland spots daylight. And an inline or baseline violation.
Now Strickland and Welp getting to know each other a little bit better, but that time Strickland got good penetration down the lane. Looked like he was going to try one of those circus flips on a reverse layup, and somebody got a piece of the ball down low. Well, Scott can get things going for the Sixers, get the crowd going again, and do a good job on Strickland. He will make a very big contribution.
Here's an alley-oop. Coleman and Green in that shoving match, and Sidney Green got caught off balance. Here's Scott Brooks, and he's going at Strickland, and he creates an offensive foul. He pestered him enough for the loose ball that Strickland reacted, and now Strickland has more to say to Christian Belp as we're heating up again. We got a 20-second timeout.
So here the pressure by Scott Brooks and the little push-off by Strickland. And in 4 possessions, the only 4 they've had in this second period, the New York Knicks have turned the ball over all 4 times.
And as a result, we are tied at 28.
Ben Coleman making his presence felt underneath the basket. As Rick Pitino trying to get his troops back in order. Of course, he can only make 1 substitution during the 22nd timeout, and it'll be Kenny Walker coming in for Sid Green.
I think, Matt, the more physical the officials allow this game to be, the more effective Ben Coleman will be.
I got to agree with that, because Ben's doing a lot of grabbing, holding, and pushing.
Gerald Henderson, the open shooter. And now the Sixers with their first lead of the game. And it comes with exactly 10 minutes to go in the first half. Ewing is in the game, and Strickland shoots over him. Ben Coleman almost had the rebound, but Gerald Henderson does. Here's Coleman again. It took a nifty pass, though, by Gerald Henderson. Sixers by 4. And another offensive foul. This one again on the Knicks. That'll be on Kenny Walker.
And now the Knicks getting their starters back in. Actually, at that 22nd timeout, unless I missed something, both Ewing and Walker came in, and that's illegal. You're only allowed to bring in one player on a 22nd timeout, but it's neither here nor there.
Brooks on the drive, and the rebound swept down by Ewing. Jackson pounded there by Scott Brooks, but here's an open Van de Weeg, and this will be a three-pointer that bounces away. And Van de Weeg is yet to get started. Christian Velp. Van de Weeg the rebound.
See what Jackson tries to do here. Normally when he's in the game against Scott Brooks, he likes to pass off and go down and post him up. Not going to do it here.
Fakes like he may and ends up looking inside. It's Christian Velp and Patrick Ewing. And the foul's going to be on Velp. That's his first.
Rick Pitino right now has to just be happy if his team gets a shot up at the basket. 5 turnovers out of 6 possessions.
Hawkins back in for Gerald Henderson. The alley-oop. Ewing has it, misses it. Scott Brooks works around Jackson. Van de Weeg sags off of him. Yeah. Over the top, Ron Anderson. Tried to make a spectacular play. Instead, an offensive foul on Anderson.
Ron not happy with the call, but it's one of those automatic jobs with Jackson having inside position and Ron seemingly reaching over the top to get a piece of the ball.
8 minutes now left in the half. The Sixers by 4, where they've been for a while. Gerald Wilkins looking inside.
5 on the shot clock.
Gerald Wilkins going to have to take a tough one. He shoots over Hawkins and makes it. You see Hawkins right in his face that time.
Yeah, he cannot fault the defense there.
Hawkins to Coleman. Ben is fouled and he almost makes the shot. Everything has gone so far for Ben Coleman until that one. Walker commits the foul, his second.
That's a long game, as we know, Jim, but you have to say in this first half, the Sixers bench has had a decided edge over the New York bench.
Their best bench game, without a doubt, in the series thus far. Oakley is back in as the Knicks now, one by one, begin to get their starters back in there. Van de Weeg, the lone exception at the moment.
And Charles Barkley getting a longer than usual respite on the bench.
And that is encouraging with Charles on the bench for a good spell here. The Sixers have not only held their own, they've outscored New York. Oakley from distance. Ahead to Coleman. He loops the ball around Oakley. Ben's got 10 points. And he's given the Knicks fits. A timeout by New York. And one of those great stretches where Ben Coleman is having everything go his way. A physical game in which he is being allowed to play, and he's executing well. We're also going to take this opportunity to go courtside and visit with Mark Zumoff, who looks like he's holding up a towel.
Well, Jim Barniak, I don't know how folks feel about the wave or hankies or anything like that, but this is the official rowdy rag that was given out tonight by the 76ers management. The first 10,000 or so fans are attending this game. Speaking of the fans, you may have heard yesterday Charles Barkley talking about the fair weather fans. He wanted a sellout here tonight at the Spectrum. The fact of the matter is the 76ers say they have never sold out a first-round playoff game here at the Spectrum. They do have about 14 or 15,000 here tonight, which would rank as perhaps the best first-round playoff crowd ever. Among them, about 1,500 Knicks fans. Ironically, when the 76ers advertised playoff tickets in the paper, the caption read, "Don't let a New Yorker take your ticket." Gentlemen?
All right, thank you, Mark. We've got 7 minutes and 2 seconds left here in the first half. The Sixers leading it 36-30. We're down by 10 in the first quarter, and Knicks really came out clawing. The Sixers have fought back very well and getting great production off the bench, in particular, as we mentioned, Ben Coleman.
And Ben got off to a questionable start, a couple of bad fouls early in his first minute or so on the floor, but he has responded well. Charles Oakley making a couple of bad plays there, poor shot selection, and then a terrible defensive play, but Ben is taking advantage of every opportunity, and really what he's doing right now is keeping Charles Barkley on the bench, and that Sixers bench outscoring the Knicks bench 16-4.
And it's a 12-2 run at the moment in favor of the Sixers as Kiki Vandeweghe gets prepared to inbound the ball. Jackson guarded by Scott Brooks. And they're going to call a foul, a push-off on Mark Jackson. So they're not letting Mark Jackson get away with very much all of a sudden. He'll get away with all he can. You can book that. This rebound snared out of there by Gerald Wilkins, and the Knicks run it up in a hurry. Jackson right down the middle is fouled and scores. And again, soft in the middle. Chiminski commits the foul this time. Jackson with a chance to make it a three-point play.
Well, Ben gets a nice round of applause for his efforts, and Scott Brooks also coming out as Maurice Cheeks comes into the game. It's kind of amazing. The Knicks have turned it over by my unofficial count 6 times in this second period by bouncing, setting bad picks, bumping people, when it seems that anytime they want to, they can just kind of spread the floor and drive to the basket and get a good play. But they get involved in a lot of crazy things.
36-33. Cheeks back in. Barkley back in. The fadeaway is missed by Chiminski. Ewing on the back end. The rebound to Barkley. Derek Smith.
Well,
38-33, sorry.
Patrick hasn't had too many post-up opportunities.
There he is from the outside, where he's not been hitting that shot of late either.
Well, that is his favorite side of the floor, maybe a step or two outside his range.
Derek Smith grabs the loose ball and sends it home. That was a break for the Sixers, who nearly threw it away, and Derek Smith, though, alertly scooped and scored. Sixers by 7. Their best lead of the game, and wrapped underneath is Derek Smith and Kiki Vandeweghe, and they call it on Derek Smith. Second foul for Derek, who has been foul prone throughout these games.
I think throughout this whole series, Jim, the Sixers have been quicker to loose balls than New York in just about every instance. We saw that last one where Kiki Vandeweghe stepped into the passing lane, apparently had a steal, ball knocked loose, and Sixers quicker to it, resulted in a play from Barkley to Derek Smith for the easy layup.
Kiki for another. This is why they got him, when their press would be ineffective or their inside game less than spectacular. He is there to give them another added dimension to the outside. Mike Chiminski pointing at Patrick Ewing, as though, and there Ewing slips away for the moment. The ball knocked out of bounds by Oakley. Mike Chiminski was trying to orchestrate an illegal defense against the Knicks. Barkley giving an earful to Hersey Hawkins also, and that's meant to just get Hersey into this game more. Here's a timeout called by Smith, a 22nd timeout as he's... I don't know if they have enough guys to finish that conference either, the way they're playing. Now we've got the illegal D. This looked like Ewing or Vandeweghe. Both of them were clustered into the painted area there and not paying much attention to the outside.
It was Kiki who cheated over.
Give and go, spots Derek Smith, who loops around and gets himself open. He just dribbled to an open area and let go.
Well, that time the Sixers attacked the pressure of New York, got it in quickly and moved to the open spot, did Derek Smith, and resulted in an easy shot.
6 points for Derek Smith. Wilkins, Gerald Wilkins that is, misses the shot. Jaminski throws it away, stolen by Mark Jackson. He'll have a clear lane to the basket.
And he saw Hersey Hawkins out of his left corner of his eye coming to try to block that shot. And Mark Jackson made no mistake, and that's, people don't realize how high he can jump. We learned last Saturday how high when he blocked the Ron Anderson layup.
That was Cheeks looking for a little room. Now Derek Smith on the run. Jaminski's hook shot. Sixers by 7. This is Vandeweghe. He has Wilkins inside. He decides to go to the basket himself and draws the foul. Derek Smith again called for the foul. Now it's number 3.
Felt that Kiki may have dipped that right shoulder in to draw the contact, which he did. Kiki looks like he has lost a step or two. Of course, he's missed a lot of basketball over the last 2 seasons due to a back problem. And he is not the quick player that he was in his early years in Portland or even his earlier years in Denver. Just have a terrific first step going left or right. And he's obviously lost some of that.
Always been an excellent free throw shooter, and he drops a couple here.
Kiki came over earlier tonight before the Knicks bus to get a workout in, get some shooting in. He's still working on his conditioning.
Guarding Hawkins right now.
Sending him baseline.
And Hersey backs up and pumps and steals. 4 on 3. Cheeks splits the defense. Barkley trying for the save. Now it's 3 on 1 New York. This is Ewing. Boom, he missed it.
Patrick Ewing tried a Julius Erving move there to take off from about almost a step inside the foul line. Of course, only Doc could do that. But Patrick gave the effort and came up way short. Missed the landing strip.
Whistle. And another foul. This one. No, we're going to get a timeout. I thought perhaps a foul. We still may have a foul down there. Yeah, we do. Hersey Hawkins commits the foul, a block. But before we go to the free throw line, we've got ourselves a timeout here. And we'll be back right after this. Well, if there's a Spalding guide to playing basketball, the Knicks have yet to read it. They are just coming at you with all kinds of wild stuff tonight.
But these are the kind of plays that they often make. There you saw a great steal, and watch this play by Mark Jackson as Hersey Hawkins challenged him at the final juncture at the hoop. Charles Barkley, trying to save a ball, starts a 3-on-1 break, and here's Ewing, one step in, actually planted the right leg, which was the outside leg, as he turned his body around perpendicular to the backboard and tried to jam it. There you see a tight one up at the Boston Garden.
Well, the infield fly rule was in effect there when that ball hit the rim, went high into the air. Every player on the floor was able to hurry back and have a chance at rebounding it. Now we resume with Vandeweghe, who has been able to create things on the free throw line for himself. He's made 4 in a row since coming into this game.
Yeah, Patrick Ewing is obviously a very, very valuable player. Means so much to these Knicks. He does some things out on the floor that really amaze you when you know what kind of a player he is. But that's his style, is to just go all out on every play. Sometimes it results in a silly foul, sometimes a missed dunk, but he feels that that's the way he can best produce in this league, and he's been right the last couple of seasons.
For sure, he is not one who carries around the reputation of selecting his spots. He is there. Here is Wilkins, who passes. I say that with some surprise, and now Wilkins climbing up on the back is called for offensive interference. You won't see Gerald Wilkins get that close to the basket and dish it off. And maybe he should have shot it.
And Kiki has a bad angle here, a little bit too close to the backboard, and there you see a good call by the officials as Oakley did interfere with the ball touching the rim.
Sixers by 3. We'll try and get Charles Barkley more involved here. Muscling on Oakley, throws it away. It's loose though, and Charles will get it anyway, and this time he throws it up and scores. Oh, and he might have got away with a push-off.
And I think Charles knows he got away with one here. He's going to, as he throws that left arm out against Patrick Ewing, just to hold him off a little bit. Ewing doesn't really complain much on the play, picks up his second personal foul.
If there's any justice, though, Charles probably gets fouled 10 times the amount of times that he commits a foul on one of those type of plays. 46-41.
Now Rick Pitino is, I'm sure, hoping and praying that Ewing does not get his third right now. He'd like to get him out of the ball game before the end of the half. Another turnover for New York.
Yeah, Van de Wijk dribbled it right off his foot, his own foot. Ron Anderson was right in his face. Ewing will probably spend the rest of this half on the bench as Sidney Green comes in. So the Knicks with a somewhat of a small lineup on the floor. Barkley in traffic. Sidney Green's going to need plenty of help in there.
Well, the double team came, but it wasn't a strong one, and Charles able to step right through it. Van de Wijk not doing the job.
Boy, Jackson threw that ball, or Green finally got it. And the second effort by Sidney Green will get him to the line. Or Oakley, I'm sorry. Jackson really came out of nowhere with his pass. Watch this.
Actually, he's in and doesn't realize it. I actually had to shoot the ball on the way down. Lucky to get it off the back of Jaminski. And Oakley has had a lot of second and third opportunities at the rim. Has missed a number of them. And goaltended one just recently. This man's had a busy first half, not to mention trying to stay with Charles Barkley at the other end.
And those Knicks now miss a free throw as Charles nearly travels, coming away with the rebound. A minute, 6 seconds left here in the first half. Cheeks finds a new way to beat the double team. He just took the ball to the basket, and goaltending the call.
That's an unusual time to double team Charles Barkley when he's out on the perimeter facing the basket. I mean, that's the one guy you would want to shoot a jump shot, but that's the way the Knicks play. And I guess I've said that about 10 times already in this first half, but it's the only explanation you could give for some of the things they do.
They defy analysis. But we're going to give you some anyway. Here's Wilkins.
Gerald Wilkins.
$50-45 now.
Sixers want to get 2 shots now with about 33 seconds to go in the half. 2 shots to 1 for New York. Here comes the double team and a wide open Jay.
Right behind the screen of Mike Jaminski. Sixers telegraphed that play to everybody except the Knicks.
It's actually the Knicks who give the play to the Sixers just by running and doubling Charles. They're saying we're going to give you somebody else an open jump shot, and when you got Cheeks, Hawkins, Jaminski, and Anderson as one of those shooters, it's a good deal for the Sixers.
Jackson, look at that penetration. 12 points for Jackson. Well, the half ends as intense as this game began, but it's the Sixers who rally here in the second quarter after trailing by 4 at the end of one, have come back and lead 52-47. As we begin the second half, 52 for the Sixers, 47 for the Knicks. But there's probably no better team in the NBA at coming back from a deficit down the New York Knicks. Remember in game 2, overcoming that 10-point spread to win it in the final seconds.
I can imagine what Rick Pitino talked to his team about at halftime, and he points to the fact that they shot just 42% from the field, turned the ball over 8 times in the second period, 11 overall, and are only trailing by 5 points. 76ers, on the other hand, they have to do a better job on the defensive board. They gave up 7 offensive rebounds alone to Charles Oakley. Sixers, if they can just hold the Knicks to 1 shot and rebound the ball, get their fast break opportunities, keep their composure for the next 24 minutes, we'll all be back here on Thursday.
And that'll be at 8 o'clock right here on Prism, hopefully. Yours truly, Jim Barniak, along with Matt Gukas. Hoping you'll be with us as Patrick Ewing gets things going for the Knicks. Cheeks, Barkley, Hawkins, Derek Smith, and Mike Jaminski. Gerald Wilkins, Mark Jackson, Charles Oakley, Patrick Ewing. The shot off the front, the deep rebound, and a breakaway for Gerald Wilkins. Johnny Newman, the 5th Knick, as Gerald Wilkins sprints down the floor, and just like that, the Knicks have scored 4 in a row, trail by 1.
I think the Sixers set that up specifically to get the open jump shot for Hersey Hawkins. He went 0 for 4 in the first half and now misses his first one in the third period. Sixers know every time Charles catches, they're going to get a double team.
That was Oakley on the rebound as the Sixers outside shooting breaks down here at the moment. Stripped and stolen by Cheeks. He takes it all the way, end-to-end action by Mo Cheeks.
That's a great play by Maurice Cheeks, coming from the blind side of Ewing to strip him and then just challenge Gerald Wilkins at the other end.
Here is Oakley turning and firing.
What was that? That was a jump hook by Charles Oakley?
Yeah, we don't see that in his bag.
I don't know if I've ever seen that. Oh, I don't see him that much, but
Barkley, funny, not funny, but a weird sequence of events there is Charles, first of all,
try to figure out why Oakley would go for a steal in the deep corner, get himself behind Barkley, and that's how he winds up tripping him after he didn't really trip. Charles kind of slipped and his foot backed into Charles Oakley.
In any case, Oakley gets called for the foul, his second. Yeah, that was weird, that whole play. Here's one off the hands of Derek Smith to Mark Jackson, and Jackson puts a neat move at the end of all of that. 54 for the Sixers, and the Knicks now with the lead again at 55.
Well, he showed us he can dunk the ball in that setting. He can also kiss it off the glass. He does that quite a bit. A great touch off the board.
Sixers finally hit one from the outside after the Knicks made 4 consecutive field goals. So many times in this series, it's been Mo Cheeks, the one player to get the ball into the basket when the Sixers need it most. Down the floor to Barkley. Cheeks with another assist. Barkley now with 11 points.
Maurice out there doing everything right now. If he's not stealing the ball and scoring, he's making a play for somebody else. He does not want the season to end. He never does.
Back door, and it's Newman, and he's fouled. That's the 4th foul on Derek Smith.
Jimmy Lynam livid. He felt it was an illegal pick set to open up Johnny Newman. We'll get another look at it on replay. We really can't see that particular angle, but Johnny Newman really broke wide open as Derek Smith got hung up.
Just about 3 minutes into this second half. We're deadlocked at 58. Sixers have led by as much as 7. The Knicks by 10. Hawkins, no. Ewing the rebound.
Henderson up, ready to come in for Hersey.
Jackson tried to spin it up there.
Derek Smith and Newman ready to go.
And they're gone.
They're going.
This is a headlock
and play is continuing at the other end. I don't believe this.
4-on-4, and Barkley makes the basket. As now we've got Derek Smith and Newman untangled.
I don't know if they're going to count that. I guess they're going to count that field goal, but Derek Smith and Johnny Newman were in headlocking each other, rolling on the floor. Jimmy Lynam out on the floor to try to break it up, and play was going the other end.
Now watch all this. Here we go.
3 officials.
They are not dancing.
Or hugging.
It seems like they want to do something to each other, but they really don't.
There's Jimmy out on the floor saying,
yeah.
"Felt no, guys, come on." And Charles Barkley got a tip in at the other end, which will count.
Oh, that's a great picture. Jimmy Lynam down there like a referee in wrestling.
Darryl Garrettson, the supervisor of officials, is going to have fun with that one. When he gets these 3 referees in the room saying, "How did one of you not see this?"
What we have again is another situation of double technical fouls, 1 each to Newman.
These are like these penalties in the
and
ice
Derek
hockey
Smith.
games, right?
Now we're going to have a few more words of discussion here. That was about as wacky a thing as I've ever seen. The guys sort of grabbed each other, and then they really didn't want to take it much further than that. And then they found themselves on the floor with Coach Lynam looking in.
And no punches thrown.
And the game going on down the other end. There are the same 2 folks once more, and Newman goes right by and scores. Derek Smith with 4 personal fouls is in trouble defending a play like that.
And really up trying to take away the perimeter shot of Newman, and that opens up the drive.
Here's another illegal defense call against the Knicks. Rick Pitino livid on the sidelines. More than any other coach, he gets away with standing on the floor during the game. Talk about coaches on the floor. There's a guy who probably leads the league. And there'll be a technical foul called, as that is the 2nd violation. Hawkins and Derek Smith come out for the Sixers. Gerald Henderson and Ron Anderson in, as Rick Pitino is working the official hard.
He's appealing to Hugh Hollins to tell the other official he was wrong.
It has not been a good night for the Sixers on the free throw line. 8 out of 13 in the first half, and they missed one at the outset here.
Ron Anderson has come in for Derek Smith, and Henderson in for Hawkins. And the double, and somebody's open. Maurice keeps the ball, though. Didn't reverse it.
Thanks for helping me there. I lost my voice. Cheeks to Jaminski. And a foul. And Ewing comes out storming. Can't believe it. That for Patrick Ewing will be his 3rd.
Patrick Ewing is 3rd.
Maurice with the shot clock winding down, penetrates, draws the defense. I don't know.
He don't know either.
Patrick didn't think so. Of course, he's going to challenge. He's going to get a breather now with the 3 personals. Of course, Pitino very much aware how quickly Patrick can get into deep foul trouble. And probably wants to see how long he can go with Patrick on the bench. They've had some good moments when he has had to sit out.
Ewing is not good at going at half speed. 11 points for Mike Jaminski, and the Sixers lead it by 2. This is Newman for 3. So far, knock on wood, the Knicks have not hurt from 3-point range. They've made a couple, 2 out of 6, but you'll give them that number. There's bodies flying again, and this is a block foul. Again going against the Knicks. You have to wait and see who they help up before you can call the foul. This one on Newman, who spent a lot of time on the deck one way or another in this quarter. Well, I hope somebody got a still for shot of that scene. Here's Barkley, the power move. Nobody wanted a piece of Charles that time.
Of course, now the Sixers are aware, no Patrick Ewing in there, that there is no shot blocking threat. Want to be taking it hard to the hoop at every opportunity.
Charles, who finished second in the league in field goal percentage, is 7 out of 8. And look at that guy.
It's in the genes. Brother Dominique makes plays like that.
He's got a lot of Greg Louganis in him, too. He can contort himself all sorts of ways and still level off for the shot. Cheeks underneath. He is fouled by Wilkins. Sixers are going to grab a timeout here. Mo Cheeks will be on the line with the Sixers leading by 2. 6:27 left in the third, and we'll be back after this. Remember the movie They Shoot Horses, Don't They? All about a dance marathon and couples just fading and falling to the floor when it was all over. Watch this.
Well, these two have been pushing and shoving and grabbing at each other now for 2.5 games of this series. And it came to a head, but really a very non-violent one as they just calmly fell to the floor. Jimmy said, "Everybody all right?" 2 officials down, breaking it up as play went the other end, 4-on-4, and the Sixers got a tap in by Charles Barkley.
Now there's a good reason for having 3 officials. You can have somebody run the game at one end, somebody run the scuffle at the other end, and somebody in the middle in case anything crazy happens.
Doesn't matter how many you have as long as the whistle's blown at the right time.
Oh dear, 64-62. And Mo Cheeks to the free throw line.
Trent Tucker has come into the ball game for Gerald Wilkins. Who has 3 fouls, I believe, Gerald?
Gerald Wilkins with 3, Patrick Ewing with 3, Derek Smith of the Sixers with 4. And the Sixers lead by 4 points, 66-62. Oakley will take it. He's going to be way short this time. Charles went out and bothered him a little bit.
Just wait for the double team. Hasn't come yet. There it is.
There's the spin move, and Barkley on the double clutch. Misses, and the Sixers will have no more time on the clock, but we're going to have to get that resolved because one of the Knicks did touch it.
I don't know. I didn't tell you. The ball hit the side of the backboard.
I thought a Knick got a hand on the ball somewhere in there. Maybe
yeah,
not.
But that would not change the clock. Would have to touch some part of the backboard or rim. And the Knicks never had a clear possession. But the ball did clearly hit the side of the backboard.
If a ball is rebounded and hit by a Knick, doesn't that constitute a new 20
well, no, the rebound would change the clock. The actual ball hitting the backboard or rim, not so much the other team, unless it was a clear possession by the other team.
In possession here, Ron Anderson. Cheeks hurried the shot that time. He didn't get in as close as he would have liked, and the Knicks come away with it. A battle underneath, Sidney Green and Charles Barkley.
Personal fouls on Charles Barkley.
Knicks just coming down, spreading the floor, looking for Mark Jackson to create something. Gives it over to Johnny Newman, who threw a pass inside to Sidney Green, who is really their only effective inside player. We can't really say that Charles Oakley is an effective inside player. We've seen him get some tip-ins, seen him throw up a jump hook, but he is not, quote, a low post player. He prefers to shoot the ball from the perimeter. We've seen plenty of that.
And we have ourselves a 2-point game. And an offensive foul going to go against the Sixers. We have had an abnormal number of offensive fouls called tonight.
That time Gerald trying to free up Mike Jaminski as the Sixers really have an opportunity to make some hay here with Ewing on the bench.
This is Newman, and he really tucked and rolled on that one. Over the head layup.
Got to do some damage inside.
We're tied at 66 to Barkley, guarded by Oakley. Fights his way through the crowd and makes the layup. Now the Sixers are going to be warned for delay of the game. Nope. Thought they might be as the ball was punched into the crowd.
So Ben Coleman is ready to check in, no doubt for Mike Jaminski, as Jimmy will try to match size for size.
That was Tucker flying through the air and goaltending the call. Well, that's a tough call because that would have been a great shot had Tucker been able to make it.
Well, Tucker rarely drives and consequently rarely goes to the free throw line. That would surprise everybody.
So with a little help from Mike Jaminski, we're tied again at 68. Whoops, Charles puts it on the floor and it is ruled out of bounds off the Knicks.
5 seconds on the 24-second clock. 5 seconds.
Here is Ben Coleman, who had 10 points in a very productive stint in the second quarter. He replaces Mike Jaminski.
5 on the shot clock. Jimmy was trying to get a new 24 on the kick out by Tucker. Oh, now Gerald Henderson just threw Tucker in the first row.
There's a personal foul with Trent Tucker.
Tucker is the one after he finally unravels himself from the seats who gets called for the foul.
That's one of those typical savvy Gerald Henderson type of plays. He knew with 5 seconds to go, Sixers not apt to get a real high percentage shot, so he took a chance on drawing the 2-shot foul, which he did, but not going to pay off as he misses the first.
It's the 7th miss. Make it 8 so far for the Sixers. So we stay deadlocked at 68.
See, left-hand jumper.
That was Newman, made that spectacular effort. Now we come the other way. Cheeks will be called this time for the offensive foul or the block. Well, they're going to call the block. Mo Cheeks is, oh my goodness, in pain down there. Watch again.
Take a look at it. Oops.
Well, Green was kind of sliding. We didn't get a good look at his feet there. Oh boy, close.
Kind of sliding, but kind of there.
Rod Strickland returns for the Knicks.
Mo Cheeks is back up.
Been a very difficult game to officiate. A lot of physical play, a lot of pushing, shoving, hooking. By hooking, I mean getting your offhand of your dribble hand and holding that guy and trying to spin on him.
Well, here we are at the free throw line, which is a big story in this game. The Sixers have made 12 of 20. The Knicks 10 of 11.
But the key is, Jim, of course, it's very unfortunate not to be making them, but the fact is they're getting there, and that means the Knicks are getting in foul trouble. Sixers getting more opportunities, and the Knicks aren't getting there because they're taking some bad shots.
Well, there's 2 that help. It's now a 2-point Sixer lead.
Half-court trap by the Sixers.
Sidney Green throws Henderson off into the seats. Sidney Green and Gerald Henderson going for the loose ball, and Green just winged Gerald Henderson right out of bounds. There's this again.
Sherrill does a good job, gets a part of the ball. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's hard to tell with Gerald. Sometimes you don't know if he's flopping or not. That time he did not.
Green is short with the jumper, but Strickland rebounds. Takes it up and can't get it. Takes it again, and this time, good second effort by Strickland.
He is uncanny inside. Looked like he had an opening on this play, but he's going to clutch it a little bit. He did flip it off, gets his own offensive rebound. I thought he passed that first one. He actually basically threw it to himself by hitting it under the rim.
The old Moses Malone trick. Pretty heady play by a rookie. Now the Knicks are up by 1. From the outside, Cheeks with a miss.
Knicks again calling one of their rare set plays. They called one a couple of sequences ago. They got another one here, the pick and roll.
Here's Newman again, working his way and traveling on the baseline. The Knicks want a timeout here. 2:42 left in the third. New York 71 and the Sixers 70. We'll be back. How does the saying go? Someday you get the bear and someday the bear gets you.
Well, these two have gotten to know each other quite well in these 3 games. A lot of pushing and shoving. Charles now going to make a quick move. Watch this. And just a little bit of a hook with the left arm, able to freeze Charles Oakley and hold him off. And Charles able to get inside, and Charles shaking his head, going away.
Elsewhere at the Boston Garden, the Celtics battling for survival. They're down 2. This one's tied, and this one has turned out to be a dandy. Milwaukee, which did not beat Atlanta all during the regular season, has won 1 and leads now in another.
And a gigantic win for the Bucks down at the Omni in game 2. Brooks in to give Cheeks a breather.
He's guarded by Strickland. Henderson also in the backcourt. Ben Coleman, the hook shot to follow. Well, Ben hasn't had much playoff experience, and this is his career playoff game. He has 12 now.
And no thought of double teaming him.
Oakley left open. Another unusual player in that his style. A big guy who can bruise with the best of them underneath, but he really loves to shoot the wing jump shot.
Going to go to Ben again.
Guarded by Green. Coleman still with a chance for that loose ball. The Sixers have struggled most from the outside. Ron Anderson and Hersey Hawkins, for example, a combined 1 for 11.
Sixers have done all of their damage inside.
There's Oakley again, and the rebound, the follow-up is by Sidney Green, and the Knicks now lead it by 3, 75-72.
I don't know if that's designed to take Charles Barkley away from the basket and let just Oakley fling it and somebody get an offensive rebound. That's what happened there.
Gerald Henderson, the scoop shot will go for him. Backing in Strickland.
Well, they tried to run a set play there and just terrible execution, and going to have to go one-on-one.
There's Tucker again, and if he makes 3 of them all year, it's news. He's made 2 so far tonight.
Oh.
Henderson is fouled, and Strickland takes a walk.
Strickland knew he was in trouble with Henderson bearing down on him, tried to cut in his path and then strip the ball. No doubt got a piece of the ball, but also got a chunk of Henderson.
Well, this is just end-to-end mayhem right now.
I think this is the way Rick Pitino likes it. He feels his team responds best in this fashion. And I guess he feels that to try to get it real organized or real defined, it would just
get everybody thinking.
doing unnatural things on the floor. This works for them.
.30 seconds left here in the third quarter. Newman floats by, loses it.
He got fouled. That's hard to believe. Johnny Newman is he's not even beside himself. He can't believe that he did not get a foul call on the first attempt as Ben just tried to foul him. He even thought he fouled him, and they're going to foul again.
Newman will shoot 2.
The Knicks have not been to the foul line very much in this ball game.
But they have been productive. 13 points for Newman. Time left, 10 seconds. Brooks takes it down to 6 seconds, and he is fouled.
Personal foul on Strickland, his third personal foul.
That is number 3 on Strickland.
Good play there by Scott Brooks to draw the foul. Keeping possession of the ball, taking the shot clock down pretty far. Now you got to be careful the last 6 seconds here. Both teams. Sixers want to keep the Knicks from getting an easy one. And of course the Knicks, you would think they'd be thinking they don't want to turn the ball over and give the Sixers another opportunity. Either of those two things could happen.
Now it's 79-78. The Knicks to Newman, who will try for a desperation half-court shot that nearly went in. Hits off the front. And as we seesaw back and forth, the Knicks who led after 1, the Sixers ahead at the half. Now the Knicks by 1. 79-78 with 12 minutes of regulation time to go.
Our lucky shooter is Justin Branch from Lafayette Hill, Pennsylvania. For that 40 seconds to make a big shot for the...
Well, judging by the way games 1 and 2 have gone, it comes as no surprise that we head into the final quarter of game 3, separated only by a single point. In a game that has an unusual amount of little men being able to drive right down the lane, both teams.
Gerald Henderson just going right around Trent Tucker in an off-balance kind of way, able to knock that shot down. Tucker making one of his rare drives to the basket. We saw him score on the goaltend by Jaminski earlier in the period. Here, tough shot off the glass. A couple of unique things in this game, Jim, and I guess it occasionally happens, but when Charles Barkley spent a lot of time on the bench in the second period, the Sixers took over, and Ben Coleman was doing a lot of the damage for Philadelphia. Here, Patrick Ewing went out with his third foul midway through the third period, trailing by 2 points were the Knicks, and they come away with a 1-point lead at the end of the 3 periods. So with the 2 stars on the bench, their teams have responded well without them.
Well, Ewing is back. Charles remains on the bench. So Henderson and Jaminski, Ron Anderson, Ben Coleman, and now a 3-pointer by Scott Brooks, and he's got it.
Well, the perimeter shots have not been coming, but that was a big one.
Giving the Knicks a little bit of their own medicine here. Both guards hit the floor. Here is a drop-off pass from Henderson, and now we've got more people. Let's see, 5 people on the floor, 5 standing. We've had something already.
It's amazing how these regular seasons games have gone between these two teams, up in the 120s. Now they're struggling to get over 100.
They are battles for physical survival now. 10 points for Gerald Henderson. And the Sixers swing back in their favor, 83-79. Here's what the Knicks were trying to do the last time down, and posting up over Brooks is Jackson.
Now the last time Scott flopped trying to draw a charge, and in his flop he was able to pull down Jackson and cause the turnover.
A flop and a flip. Ron Anderson, who all of a sudden has gone cold.
And Patrick Ewing getting in the way of Mark Jackson.
And a foul called.
Personal foul is on Scott Brooks.
Brooks with his first personal foul. It will send Mark Jackson to the line.
Looks like Jackson has come out to start this fourth period, much as Maurice Cheeks did in the third period, looking like he wants to take over and establish something, as he has made all 3 plays for the Knicks starting the fourth quarter. A good idea to get the ball out of his hands if you're a Sixer guard by denying him the basketball and keep him from getting it back. Make somebody else handle it.
All right, we're tied now at 83.
There's the full court trap. First time the Knicks have used it in this game.
Sixers usually like to go right to the basket with the ball, but the Knicks do a good job.
With Barkley out of the ball game, Sixers don't figure to be as effective.
Brooks now trying to make a move. And the ball thrown away. Newman created the loose ball, and Jackson threw it away.
There's one of those non-thinking plays. Mark just flipped it, trying to be a little bit cute with it instead of just holding on and getting a jump ball situation with Scott Brooks.
A tie up underneath, and Gerald Henderson, you better be careful around him because he's so good at making a little thing turn into a big thing. And Patrick Ewing commits his 4th foul.
And we saw his reaction to that. He's going to say, all the pushing and shoving going on in this game, you're going to call that on me? Hey, he's doing more right now.
Ooh.
Doesn't make any sense.
Almost a 2-hand body slam. He does come up with a great block there on Brooks. Jaminski the rebound, uses the glass and can't get it to go, and on the deck goes Ben Coleman, and we've got another foul.
Ewing again.
Well, all of a sudden Ewing has gone from 3 to 5.
Looked like that first call, the one on the on Jaminski, where he supposedly shoved Jaminski coming across the line. It looked like it fired Patrick up as he came out and blocked the next play. But now this will send him to the bench for we'll see how long.
Here's a steal inside, and out with it is Wilkins, and he is grabbed by Scott Brooks. Incidentally, Ewing leaves now with just 4 points in the game.
Now what the Sixers have to do here is not get complacent and relax because Ewing is on the bench.
Ron Anderson returns for the Sixers.
Walker, Sidney Green, Johnny Newman, Mark Jackson, and Gerald Wilkins make up the Knicks lineup now. Charles Barkley getting a good bit of respite here. Newman, he is fouled. Newman able to draw that foul with a good hesitation move.
Johnny Newman slithers and kind of changes direction in the air, able to take the bump from Jaminski.
9:19 remaining here in a game that the Knicks now lead by 1. The press.
Yep.
The turnover. The Knicks can choose their spots and pick their spots, and they are very effective there.
Exactly, Jim. Much more effective, especially with guys like Coleman on the floor and no Barkley.
Now we've got an offensive foul. It's going to go against Mark Jackson.
His 4th personal foul. The Knicks call timeout.
Newman, I'm sorry, gets called for the foul. Now Jackson goes out to chat with Tommy Nunez at the foul line, trying to get a feel. I think the players are a little uncertain as what they can get away with right now.
Definitely been uncertain all night, because this is, as I said, a very difficult game to officiate, and they've had a tough time.
All right, Mark Zumoff is standing by with an update. Let's go down to courtside.
Jim Barniak, unlike last year, where a good number of the first-round series went the full 5 games, of the 8 first-round playoff series, 6 of them could end 3-game sweeps, unfortunately, including tonight's game if the Sixers lose. Let's go to the scoreboard now. We'll show you exactly what is what. Boston, with Larry Bird in streak clothes tonight, they need that, or they're eliminated by Detroit. Perhaps the odds-on favorite to win it all, certainly the odds-on favorite to win the East. Milwaukee looking to take a 2-1 lead. Funny, I picked the Hawks to win it all this year. Perhaps it serves me right. Phoenix, the big surprise during the regular season, they can eliminate Denver tonight at McNichols Arena. And how about Golden State? Don Nelson doing wonders with that small lineup, winning both games at the Salt Palace in Salt Lake City. They could wrap things up tonight. Tomorrow, LA and Portland, and it will be Seattle and Houston. Wins by the Lakers and Sonics, respectively, can eliminate the Blazers. And Houston tomorrow tied at 1. The Cleveland Cavaliers will be at Chicago. Gentlemen?
Sixers trailing now by 2 on this play by Mark Jackson.
As he likes to do against Scott Brooks, take him inside every chance he gets. Makes a nice spin move, and he uses the glass so well, especially on that side of the hoop. And that shot was challenged by Mike Jaminski, who came over to help, and just over his outstretched fingertips. Barkley back in the ballgame for Ben Coleman, who played well again after having an outstanding second period. And Derek Smith at the 2-guard spot, as both Ron Anderson, Ron is in the ballgame right now. Ron Anderson and Hersey Hawkins have struggled from the field.
All right, 9:15 now left to go here in the final quarter. Cheeks looks inside to Jaminski. And rebounding the miss, Gerald Wilkins. Sidney Green. Sidney Green got inside that 15-foot range. And the Knicks lead by 4. 8:40 left to go.
There goes Ron.
Boy, did the Sixers and Ron Anderson need that one.
Well, he has just killed the Knicks from the outside in games 1 and 2. And hasn't been able, they've been, of course, spending much more time trying to keep him from getting the ball in this game.
Hopefully it'll be the start of a stretch, because Ron usually makes them in bunches. Gerald Wilkins on the drive. 14 for Gerald Wilkins. The Sixers want a timeout here as we're getting down to the final 8 minutes. The Knicks up by 4. And we'll be back right after this. The hero of game 1, Gerald Wilkins, with a career-high 34. Getting with it here in the 4th quarter.
And the pick-and-roll play, which was so effective, Charles Barkley and Derek Smith really not doing a good enough job. That was not a particularly easy shot, but you know that's one play that the 76ers have really worked on in practice, trying to defend, or at least getting set in their own minds how they want to defend it. And Jimmy took an angry timeout there. I'm sure he wouldn't mind if Gerald found some other way to score on that play, but that is one thing they don't want to give up. Penetration into the lane.
Ewing is still an unhappy camper. On the bench with 5 personal fouls in a game that has had fierce confrontations, and Ewing has gotten a couple of those fouls on little taps. Speaking of taps, Jaminski keeps this alive long enough to get fouled.
Personal fouls on Gerald Wilkins.
Gerald Wilkins commits the foul. He's got 4 now.
Well, Kiki has come in for Johnny Newman, and Johnny Newman normally in this case having the task of guarding Ron Anderson. Now, of course, that has gone over to Kiki Vandeweghe, who defended poorly on that play, gave Ron Anderson an open jumper in the corner, took the Knicks all out of whack defensively, and enabled Jaminski to get on the board.
'89-87. 7:55 to go. Vandeweghe in the game for the Knicks, trying to run some stuff for him, and now we have a grabbing foul called against the Sixers, Ron Anderson.
You're right. I think the players are a little confused and frustrated with the officiating, Jim, and its lack of consistency more than anything. And I'm again still saying it's not an easy game to call with all the grabbing and holding, and of course the importance of the game.
Isolation here of sorts now. Oakley just throws up a block and moved his man out like a football player. Here is Jackson for 3. And you don't want to see this stuff start happening. Jackson started the game with one of those. Comes back with another. The cutter is Jaminski, and he's got the move right to the basket. 15 points for Mike Jaminski.
Well, Mike just showed up just in time as Charles, behind the backboard on his spin move, jumped in the air, and Mike came wheeling through the lane, and nice play.
Knicks by 3. This one is for 2. And it is knocked out of bounds as Jaminski and Anderson each reach for the ball. Bump it over the baseline.
22nd timeout being taken by Rick Pitino at an odd time.
It comes with 6:46 left to go in the quarter. Pitino had to hustle his players to get over there in time.
The way these two teams have gone at it, you would like to have as many timeouts available to you down the stretch with all the wild and crazy things that have gone on, but for some reason Rick wants to make sure of something here, and they normally set up kind of a wedge here, a 3-man screen out at the 3-point line for a 3-point shooter, but really Mark Jackson, their best 3-point shooter. They're not going to do it here. That's the play they were going to set up, and Rick wanted to change it.
Was it worth the 22nd timeout? We'll soon see. Wilkins has this one blocked.
Good block by Jaminski to step in there and knock it away.
I don't think I have seen a Wilkins shot blocked until that one in 3 games.
Or challenge.
Jackson changed what looked like a shot into a pass, and Oakley was as confused, and a Knick turnover. They're 16th.
Jackson doesn't really feel comfortable shooting the 2-point shot from about 16, 18 feet. He'd much rather shoot the 3. And there's a little psychology involved there. We'll talk about that as we go on. Sixers
trailing by 3. The clock now running down, and a travel the call.
Point is, Jim, when you're a guard, you're supposed to be able to make 16, 18-foot jump shots. You're not supposed to be able to make 3, so you shoot it with a little bit more, the devil-may-care, and I think that's what goes through Mark Jackson's mind.
Nearly stolen by Cheeks. Jackson on the drive. This time the pass is there, but Green can't make the shot. Does, however, draw a foul. One thing about Jackson, he thrives in this kind of situation. When the game is on the line, he's one of those guys that really loves to try and take over.
He has been a big play guy for them in his 2 seasons. He's a little upset there. I don't know with himself. He had no problem penetrating. I think he felt Sidney Green should have probably dunked that ball. Sixers have to get something going at their end. They've been a little bit stagnant offensively.
Oh, this one kept alive and pulled down by Wilkins. Jackson finds a wide open Van de Weg, and now the Knicks lead this one 95-89. Gotta get the scoreboard on track. They got the wrong numbers up there. Sixers in need of a basket big time here, and they get it. Derek Smith is fouled, and that couldn't have come at a better time.
There's a strange one. Charles just taking the little turnaround jumper without a double team. And you would think that would afford the Knicks better defensive rebounding positioning. But Derek Smith able to knife in there, get the rebound, make a tough shot, and complete.
The Knicks trying to deliver the knockout punch. The Sixers battling for all they've got. Derek Smith guarding Wilkins, does a good job. Jackson, three. He's got another one. And that'll send the Sixers to the bench with another timeout. 5 minutes left to go in the game. Maybe the season. As the Knicks have pulled up 98-92. And that three-point shot, which was almost non-existent throughout 3/4 of this game, has come to the fore. And boy, it's beginning to look like a little deja vu here with games 1 and 2.
Well, Maurice Cheeks gambling in there for the double team. I don't think it was a called double team by the Sixers. The only guy they would double team would be Ewing down low, but Maurice left Jackson. Mark still had two Sixers running at him, able to knock that shot down even after he looked to find the line. And that's almost death in a three-point shot when you have to look down and find out where you are on the floor. But he's got it going right now. However, there's still plenty of time left in this ballgame with 5:01 remaining. Sixers trailing by 6. And normally he has saved his heroics for much, much later in the ballgame.
5 minutes left to play. Jackson with 24 points on the night, 3 out of 4 from downtown, as they like to say up in New York. Don't forget that Sixers summer basketball camp. There's usually a member of the Sixers. They're there each and every day, sometimes a couple. And you youngsters out there can learn basketball firsthand from the very best.
Here goes Gerald Wilkins on the move against Derek Smith. Maurice coming over to help out. And now Smith and Anderson flying at Mark Jackson, who obviously able to keep his concentration on the rim. Knicks might be celebrating a little too early here. We saw the Sixers doing that with about 4 minutes to go in game 2. And well, I don't like anybody celebrating to you're in the locker room and you're sure nobody comes in and gets you for a few minutes. Jimmy Lynam now has gone to Gerald Henderson. I think he feels he needs more quickness out on the floor, especially with the smaller Knick team out there. Just doesn't feel Derek Smith has the foot speed right now. So it'll be Henderson and Cheeks in the backcourt, Anderson, Jaminski, Barkley up front.
5 minutes left to go. Lots of time for lots of things. The Knicks lead by 6. Nice play here for Gerald Henderson, and he delivers.
Good execution by the Sixers there.
All this without Patrick Ewing, mind you, has been on the bench in foul trouble much of the stretch run here by the Knicks. The loose ball is grabbed and tossed in by Oakley.
Look at this. Now that's a rare Knick pickup of a loose rebound. Charles Barkley usually eats those for lunch.
Anderson coming alive late. That's only his 3rd field goal of the game. 2 of them, though, have been here in the 4th quarter. 100-96. 4 minutes now left to go. Sidney Green, the guy you sort of want with the ball. He's not going to score much, and he travels with it there.
Walked twice, actually. Walked on the first step, and then walked on the finishing part. And Ewing gets set to check in.
He does at 3:45 on the clock, but he has 5 personal fouls, although the Knicks have done as well without him tonight. There's Barkley being pushed over the baseline, and a foul goes against Charles Oakley. He's got 4. The Knicks are over the limit. Now the Sixers have struggled at the line and have to change that. They are 18 for 20 to this point. Or make it, I'm looking at the Knicks totals. The Knicks are 18 to 20. The Sixers are 21 for 29. But when it counts right there, Barkley hits a couple. We've got 19 points for Barkley.
Gerald Henderson really doing a good job right now on Gerald Wilkins, denying him the basketball.
Jackson, a prayer. Saved by Wilkins. Travel on Wilkins. At 3:19, the Knicks lead 100-98. The Sixers putting on a rally, and Rick Pitino calls a timeout. And so we'll be back right after this. Well, the crowd has certainly come to life here as the Sixers have come to within 2 of the Knicks.
We're going to see the air ball by Gerald Wilkins. Now we're going to find out why Charles Barkley does not come away with this. It's because Sidney Green able to take him out of the play. Oakley gets the lay-in, no foul called as he got hacked on the arm. And the Sixers were, I think, able, Jim, to weather about 2 minutes of rocky road there. Looked like they were reeling and maybe lost their confidence a little bit, but now with Gerald Henderson playing good defense at the Sixers end, they feel like the momentum is back in their favor with 3:19 to go, and the Knicks leading 100-98.
.317 on the clock. Sixers going for the tie. Barkley, Oakley on him, pulls up. 100 to 100.
Again, no double team. That's the last 2 times Charles has got it in the deep post. No double team. And he scored both times. Or the Sixers have scored, I should say.
Ewing, his pet shot. That is only 6 points for Patrick Ewing, but
well, he got it where he likes to there.
He is wired right now. He wants this one bad.
Now the double comes. Sixers not in good position. Shot clock winding down. Oh, no.
They will wave off the basket. Oakley commits the foul away from the shot. That'll be number 5 on him.
Jimmy telling Maurice that the Sixers have to deploy themselves much better when Charles has the ball and he gets double teamed. They've got to get that floor spread so when they reverse the ball, they're going to get a good scoring opportunity for either Ron Anderson, Maurice Cheeks, or Gerald Henderson.
22 points now for Charles Barkley. And they include a 4 out of 4 here in a game in which the Sixers have not shot the free throws all that well. Ewing nearly loses. Now he's in tight. Blocked by Barkley. A great play there. I don't know why that shot was thrown up. There was a whistle.
Johnny Newman. Johnny Newman committing a foul as the Sixers breaking out after the Barkley block, as Patrick Ewing really meant business as he tried to turn it over and throw it down the hole. Watch Charles beat him.
That is a highlight film block. Woo. Now it's the Sixers with the lead. 3 different Knicks now with 5 fouls. We've still got a lot of time left.
We do. Knicks have 2 timeouts remaining. The Sixers have 2 as well, plus a 20-second timeout.
Most of the people standing here. Now they're settling down. This is Gerald Wilkins.
Ewing wants it.
He is working hard to get it. Now he decides to work outside, setting screens as Wilkins takes it in.
Well, Mike Cheminsky really doing his best to push Ewing out, keep him from getting the ball. Ewing did the smart thing there to go out and set the pick, and then Mike was unable to help out on Gerald Wilkins.
104-104. Guy just walked by with a stethoscope around his neck.
Isolated. Oh.
Anderson makes the basket, but it'll be waved off.
Johnny Newman, just a little bit of half a second of hesitation on coming over to double Barkley.
Now that's an illegal D, the 3rd of the game. Mike Cheminsky will shoot. Sixers will retain possession, of course. My goodness. Five out of 8 from the free throw line for Cheminsky. Gerald Henderson posts up momentarily. Now he runs a screen for Barkley.
That's all it is, just to set up the defense to set that screen across.
Swinging the ball to the open shooter, Henderson, and it won't go for him, and the Knicks are able to save it. 1:15 left in the game. Tied at 104. Once again, we're coming down to who will make the big play. Stolen by the Sixers. Under a minute left. Thrown away.
Gerald Henderson, I think, doing the wise thing of looking for the fast break play, but then just didn't get the ball in the middle and make the correct play. A bad decision there.
With 54 seconds left, the Sixers turn it over. The Knicks have it. And they called time. We're going to look at the mayhem once more.
Big defensive play by the Sixers as they hound and harass Gerald Wilkins. Barkley on the steal, flips it out to Gerald Henderson, and the Sixers have numbers here, but Gerald has to get more in the middle of the floor and come to a stop. Making that pass on the run, you're more apt to turn that thing over 8 out of 9 times. You got to get the ball in the middle of the floor, come to a stop between the top of the key and the foul line. So a costly turnover at this point, and this point is 54 seconds to go in the game. Game 3 of this best-of-5 series in which the Sixers trail zip 2, and we're all tied up at 104.
Well, the crowd is absolutely zany right now, and maybe the players trying to over-respond to the noise and whatever, do crazy things. And speaking of crazy things, the Knicks have demonstrated they'll try almost anything in this situation. A three-point shot, a drive to the basket, a low post-up jumper for Ewing. They've got a lot of weapons to come at you. And
well, their favorite set play in this whole series has been that pick and roll with Gerald Wilkins and Charles Oakley over on the right wing, foul line extended. They've gotten a lot of mileage out of it, although the last time the Sixers played good D, forced the steal, or go low post to Ewing on the left box, or let Mark Jackson create. And that's the most scary one, Jim. In this situation, being the big play, big game player, that's the one that would worry me most.
we have Oakley, Ewing, Mark Jackson, Gerald Wilkins, and Johnny Newman, who will inbound the ball. Cheminsky, Barkley, Henderson, Cheeks, and Ron Anderson. 54 seconds on the clock. This is Gerald Wilkins, guarded by one of the better defenders on the Sixers team, Gerald Henderson. Ewing rebounds the miss, follows it up, has 2 cracks at it, and with 35 seconds left, the Sixers will have an opportunity to take the lead.
Well, the Knicks got 3 good shots there, and the Sixers come away unscathed.
Anderson looks for Charles. Barkley has it pounded out of there. 14 seconds left as Wilkins glides and scores. Now with 11 seconds left. 11 seconds left. The Sixers will have the ball as the Sixers also call a timeout.
Well, Barkley here looking to draw contact, draw a foul. He gets triple teamed and gets stripped from behind, and a tough play here by Gerald Wilkins as he's all bottled up by Wilkins, help from Cheeks, and he's able to just spin up on the 2 of them and make a very tough shot and avoid the charge as the Sixers take one of their 2 timeouts remaining.
Boy, you mentioned the key words, avoid the charge. The body control on the end of that play was something to watch. 106-104, 11 seconds left. Now with 10 seconds left in game 2, the Sixers did not do a very good job of getting a good shot.
Well, they wound up getting the ball to Charles Barkley out high. The Knicks sent him to the left. Well, remember the last regular season game here, Charles had the whole right side clear, and Charles Oakley kind of let him go that way and then rode him out, committed a foul. Charles made 2 big free throws. I would think if the Sixers give to Barkley, you would expect the Knicks to send him left again. But you know Charles Barkley's going to get the ball. You know the Knicks are going to double team it. If the Sixers are patient, they could get an open jump shot in pretty good position for Jaminski, Anderson, Cheeks, or Henderson.
I don't know. I guess there are some. Let's watch this play again.
Charles going right away, not waiting for the double. And Johnny Newman was the guy that came from behind and swatted it right to the waiting arms of Wilkins. And watch this play. Boy, he may have thrown that left shoulder and elbow at Henderson as he spun, but Gerald is a guy that falls down a lot. Makes it even tougher for officials.
Sixers will have it at midcourt.
Going to look for Barkley out high. Top of the key area above the 3-point line.
Need a field goal to send this to overtime, or of course they could win it with a 3, which is not likely. Here's Barkley going to try and drive with it. It goes, but hold it. Hold on, folks. There's lots of time to go. 6 seconds. Charles with one of the biggest baskets of his career.
Well, they looked like they were opening up the right side to him. Then they sent him left. And Patrick Ewing was waiting there, and Charles had to hang in the air and make a very difficult shot here. It didn't go in cleanly. Off the back of the rim and fell in softly. Oakley able to take away the right-hand drive. Overall, good defense by the Knicks. Tough shot by Charles, and we're tied at 106. 6 seconds remaining. And the Knicks have used their final timeout.
For Barkley, 25 points, 10 rebounds. Overtime would actually be a blessing because the Knicks are in some serious foul trouble. And you'd like your chances. However, the Knicks have won games 1 and 2 in settings such as this with 3-point bombs. But they only need 2 right now.
Now Jimmy's making a decision here on how to guard this inbounds pass, whether to put a lot of pressure on the ball, using that midcourt line as another defender, or to back off the passer, try to get in the passing lane and deny somebody the basketball, or deny down the sideline. On the other hand, the Knicks, their main goal is get the ball inbounds. They don't want to throw a turnover out around midcourt and have the Sixers pick it off and go in and lay it up. So their main job is get the ball inbounds and then take what they can get.
Isn't it amazing how two basketball teams can go at each other over the course now of 3 games, and it basically comes down to the final seconds and who makes the big play.
And the decision will be to pressure the inbounds passer. Mike Jaminski, the tallest man on the floor.
The Knicks with 2 penetrators in the game now, Jackson and Strickland. Of course, Wilkins is, as already has shown you, an excellent penetrator as well. They join Oakley and Newman. Double team on Jackson. He'll break it down. Misses the layup. Cheeks grabs the ball and slings it the length of the floor. It almost went in. It hit the bottom of the net. Did it go in?
No.
Oh, that's what I mean, the Sixers are running around like they've won the game.
I don't think it did. In any event, I think it was tossed. It was tossed after the red light went on.
I thought the ball like grazed the bottom of the net.
We'll get a better look than anybody in the building right here. A tough inbounds pass. Good pressure by Henderson on Jackson. He's going to go right down the lane. Actually going to get hit by Barkley right there. As I was making the point, he uses that glass so well. I don't know. They put the arm up as if it would be good. The bottom of the net.
I still say it grazed the bottom of the net. What do I know from here? Yeah.
Bottom of the net.
Whew. Now the Sixers are running around, of course, like they've won this thing. We are headed for overtime.
From the Sixers' vantage point, it looked like the way the net flopped, it looked like the ball may have gone through the basket.
Well, there's still hope for these old eyeballs of mine yet. On we go to overtime, 5 minutes. In foul trouble for the Knicks, Johnny Newman, Charles Oakley, and Patrick Ewing, all with 5. Sixers, 4 fouls on Derek Smith and 4 fouls on Mike Jaminski.
Well, no doubt Jimmy will stay with Gerald Henderson despite that one turnover on the fast break play. Gerald has done an outstanding job defensively on keeping the ball out of the hands of Gerald Wilkins, and in many cases he is the first option, and what that does is force the Knicks to improvise and do something else. Not that they're not capable of doing that, but it just takes them out of what they want to do initially.
Coming up after the game, the movie Bad Dreams, and hopefully that'll have no significance to this basketball game.
Well, the big game, big play player Mark Jackson had the opportunity, took it strong to the basket in the area that he likes to shoot it from, off the glass on the right side. Didn't get it down, and the Sixers dodge a bullet and get a reprieve in 5 minutes of overtime.
And the mayhem continues. If you're the Knicks, you would have to be very pleased with the shot that Jackson was able to get. But maybe the fortunes of this series are changing. Let's hope so. Barkley now to jump with Ewing. A breakaway for Wilkins.
And that's the one thing you don't care. Well, you do care if you get the tap in this situation, but you don't want to lose the tap and give a layup to start the 5-minute overtime period.
Well, there was a chance where, or an opportunity rather, where Charles was the jumper, which is rare, and Sixers just not properly set up. Cheeks will go for the tie. Ewing has the rebound. The trailing Johnny Newman powers his way in, makes the shot, and he is fouled.
And now Mark Jackson is talking to both Ewing and Johnny Newman, saying, stay calm, stay calm. We celebrated too early before. I think the Sixers were able to use that to give them a little bit of a spark, but now they've dug at least 4-point hole for themselves to start the overtime.
The lead is at 4. In overtime, 4:20 left to go. Barkley has a chance to draw a foul on Oakley or Ewing. Now he's trapped in the corner, and there was a dangerous pass. Ewing could have intercepted it. Anderson makes the shot. I think Ewing was a little tentative there.
Yes, he was. And Charles got away with one there. Ron Anderson took care of business once he got it, however.
Newman trying again. He's going to be called now for an offensive foul. And that's all for Newman.
Well, that time the Sixer defense closed up, as Johnny Newman must think it's a revolving door in there, that he can get into the basket anytime he wants, which he's been able to do in the 3 games, but not that time.
Newman has had a busy night. A near fracas early on, and some key baskets for the Knicks, but he's out of there now. Replaced by Vandeweghe. Barkley to tie it. Charles has gone down swinging. 110-110. 11 out of 14 from the field for Barkley. He has not shot a lot, but has made the big ones. Foul line work here in the 4th quarter and now in overtime. Spin shot is up and no good. Rebound Jaminski. The Sixers will try and run. 4-on-2. Barkley going for the rebound. Stolen by Henderson. We're tied at 110. Barkley trying to put a move on. Now here's the double team. Sixers have to do something here as the clock starts to work against them. Rebound, grabbed by Cheeks and kept alive to Barkley.
Well, good work there by the Sixers. First Gerald Henderson to give them another opportunity. Then Maurice Cheeks to get another opportunity and get the easy one for Charles Barkley, and the Sixers come back and take the lead.
Wave off the basket. A foul on the floor. Cheeks commits the foul. It's only number 2 on him.
And only the Sixers' 2nd team foul on overtime. They'll be in the penalty on the 4th team foul in overtime. Or the 2nd one under 2 minutes.
2:20 is the time remaining here. Ewing is fouled. He goes hard to the floor, and he gets up angry. Gerald Henderson committed the foul.
And they're holding on to Patrick Ewing. He really almost got killed there by Gerald Henderson as he flung him to the floor on the attempted dunk. Well, that was a scary play there as Patrick Ewing's 2 feet were pointing north and his head pointing south.
No, that says it all. And Ewing wants to say a little more.
Good play here by Charles to grab on and hold tight.
You know, that is only the 7th point of the night for Ewing. He has been in foul trouble. What matters most, though, is he has tied this game. 112, 2:15 left in overtime. Anderson. Barkley keeps it alive.
Now the Sixers have been getting those 2nd and 3rd opportunities, which are crucial at this juncture.
And a crucial timeout is the call. Comes with 1:56 to play. We're deadlocked at 112. And we'll be back after this. you can count the heroes in this sequence, which leads to a very big Sixers play.
Mike Chiminski getting a wide open shot. And terrific hustle here by Maurice Cheeks to say Ron Anderson ready to fire this towards the basket at the last second. Spots Charles Barkley all alone as Patrick Ewing took off on the Chiminski jump shot.
(112-112). Sixers will have the ball.
Tucker into the ball game. Actually the Knicks' best man-to-man defensive player. Kiki Vanderway, one of the poorest individual defenders in the league.
I was wondering how you're going to get out of that.
There's no way of getting around it. It's true. He'd probably be the first one to admit it. That's not his strengths. His strengths are shooting the ball.
Tucker will come out and guard Ron Anderson. Still lots of time. There is Anderson. Tucker comes right out on him.
One-on-one.
Poked away. That was actually Wilkins that made the steal. In a switch. Jackson throws it up. Out of bounds it goes. Yeah, good call.
And not a good decision or selection on the part of Mark Jackson there, as he was going to try to force it, pulled it back, and then forced anyways. He just flipped it up towards the rim.
To his credit, Bruce Alexander looked for help, got it immediately from Tommy Nunez. There's another bullet dodged by the Sixers.
Shot clock down.
Chiminski pops out. Sixers can't make that big shot, although they have made a few big ones in this game. Ooh, Tucker left alone, and he nails it. Not the three-pointer that he beat the Sixers with, but that beginning to look like a genius substitution there as Tucker comes into the game and hits the shot.
That was kind of a delayed, first a back screen, Ewing for Gerald Wilkins. He went off, and then Trent Tucker going to come off. Patrick Ewing again, who does a lot of moving around on this screen here. Not called, would have been his sixth, but enough to free up Trent Tucker for the wide open jumper.
54 seconds left. Charles Barkley made the big play, the two-pointer that got this game into overtime. And prior to that, Charles pretty much carried the Sixers on his back during the final couple of minutes. But now the Sixers will need to call on someone else here.
What
to
has
be the hero.
happened, Jim, the Sixers have been a little bit too deliberate in getting into their offense. And consequently, when Charles is the main focus of the offense, obviously, and when he gets the ball, there's about 9 seconds on the shot clock. And then the double team comes, then the ball starts to be swung around, and 3-4 passes, all of a sudden, you're down to 1 or 2 seconds, and that's what happened on the Chiminski jumper. And you try not to pay attention to the clock, but you're so aware of it, and you just rush your shot ever so slightly.
Well, the Pistons with a big fourth quarter put away the Boston Celtics, not only tonight, but for the season, and on go the Pistons. They'll play the winner of the Atlanta-Milwaukee series. Right here, the Sixers battling to stay alive.
Still plenty of time left in this one.
The Knicks have made 3 out of 4 from the field in overtime. The Sixers 3 out of 8.
I say plenty of time, 50 seconds, but that's an eternity in these games.
Barkley has Oakley backing up and staggering. Ooh, nearly thrown away. That would have been a steal for Wilkins. Three-point attempt is good. Gerald Henderson. He didn't even bat an eye on that play. 30 seconds.
Uh-oh.
Oakley, that's a 2. Who's got the ball? Got a loose ball foul, going to go against the Knicks with 22 seconds left. Now Bruce Alexander is walking into the fray here. Is he going to change the call?
I don't know. I think it's just the first team foul on the Knicks under 2 minutes. So it's a non-shooting situation. 22 seconds left in the overtime, so the Sixers don't need a shot. The Knicks will no doubt have to foul. I don't know if they're discussing, I don't know what they're discussing, to be honest with you, as to who the foul was on, I guess.
A double foul has been called.
Oh, they're going to call a double foul. Now they're going to end up with a jump ball.
Gerald Wilkins, his 5th personal foul. We will jump it up. It is a double foul.
Well, it's certainly a long way from over. That really changes the complexion of things. The 2 designated centers will jump.
Barkley and Ewing.
Now we're going to get interference on the jump ball by Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, calling a quick jump.
Well, there's one you'll see a lot of games before you'll see that call made in a moment like this. Sixers will be fouled here by somebody. They do not have to shoot the ball.
I don't know if the Knicks know it.
They're certainly not acting like it. Now there's a foul taken by Tucker. He takes it on who could be the hero of the night.
Charles Barkley, I think, telling Maurice Cheeks he should have kept the ball to go to the foul line. And I think Maurice telling him, Charles, we should have kept the ball moving so it would be hard to foul anybody.
Gerald is 2 out of 4 so far. But he's also 1 out of 1 from three-point land, and wow. We remain caught up in frenzy here.
In the stands, on the floor.
Yeah, there's all kinds of battles going on. The Knicks call time, 12 seconds left.
The Knicks call timeout.
Henderson missing a pair.
As he did earlier. But the big three-point shot to give the Sixers a 1-point lead with 12 seconds to go. And Gerald Henderson knocked that down, so that's what they can hang their hat on at this point.
There even might be some question as to whether it was a three-point shot. Anyway, take another look at it. Check his feet. Oh, it was not a three-point shot. Do you believe that?
Well, it was funny. I was watching the officials when he put it up. Bruce Alexander, who was the official on the play, he raised his arm. Tommy Nunez, who was away from the play and had the same view that the camera had, he had his hand down for a two-point shot. But when he saw Bruce Alexander's arm go up in the made three-point shot signal, he co-signed it. He went right along with it. But we obviously saw that Gerald was over the line.
What would a Knicks-Sixer game be now without all kinds of dilemmas, controversy, and of course some spectacular play to go along with it?
Well, the last time the Knicks were in this situation, they wanted to get the ball to Mark Jackson, which they did. He penetrated down the lane and missed his pet little shot. No reason to believe the Knicks won't try the same thing.
They'll have the ball at half court, plenty of time.
Somehow, I guess they'll have Charles Oakley bring it in. You get the feeling if he ever caught it on the floor, he might just throw it towards the basket. He just put up a terrible shot, which resulted in the double foul. And the Knicks were guilty of a jump ball violation as Patrick Ewing tried to quick jump on Charles Barkley.
When you think of what has transpired here in the last minute or so, a three-point shot that really wasn't, a double foul, an illegal jump ball, what's next? Now the rules trying to be interpreted here by Oakley, Barkley, and Hugh Hollins.
Trying to say Charles has to give him 3 feet.
Charles is going to take it down to the centimeter.
From the sideline. From the sideline.
And the Knicks are going to check things out and reload. This is Wilkins. Ooh, he takes a long shot, hits it. 6 seconds left to Barkley. Off the glass, rebound and season. Rebound Ewing, and the New York Knicks have won the first round of the playoff series in 3 consecutive games. The happy Knicks, the dejection of Charles Barkley,